Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Luke does not allow me to have a cell phone. I'm not allowed to leave the house more than 5 minutes.
She claims her marriage is like a prison.
You put her in jail, right?
I put her in jail. I wanted her to get scared straight, for the lack of better words.
He says his wife is the problem.
She needs to be motivated. I wish she was smarter.
You said you are a stinky, worthless human, and I have so much hate for you.
I have exhausted the humble, delicate approach.
Controlling husband.
Did she go 3 days without a shower because you wouldn't permit it?
No, because she chose to.
Or angry wife.
You threw a paper plate at him?
Yes.
That was a glass plate.
Have you called her stupid, ugly, fat?
I'm trying to motivate you. I'm trying to
Really?
understand.
This is motivational? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. How you doing? Good morning. How are you? Hey, hey. Okay. Now, everybody's standing, but I only want you to remain standing. This is for the ladies. If you think getting married, coupling up, having a committed relationship is a good and natural way to go through life. If you feel that, remain standing. If you don't, sit down. All right? So that's pretty much everybody. I'm going to describe a man, and if you hear something along the way that you would go, not so much, then sit down. What if this person that you had consciously coupled with told you that you are a worthless, smelly, fat, ugly, lazy woman, and I have so much hate for you? You're so picky. Well, it gets worse. They also say you might as well be a man because you look like one. Now, what if the person saying those cruel things to you was your very own husband, your newlywed husband of just over a year? Well, that's exactly what my first guest, Shara, says she is facing. Now, there's two sides to this, and you're going to hear his in a minute. But she says her husband is a mean, insecure know-it-all, and because of him, she cannot leave home, she cannot get a job, she cannot have friends, own a cell phone, or even wear a robe in her own house. She says things are so bad she feels like a prisoner. Take a look at her point of view.
My husband, Luke, is very controlling, very condescending. He manages everything that I do, every move that I make. My marriage is definitely a prison.
I don't have a phone because I'm not allowed to have a phone.
Luke does not allow me to have a cell phone. He doesn't allow me to talk to my friends. I'm not allowed to leave the house more than 5 minutes. I can't open my laptop without him asking me questions. He said, if you want to look better, don't paint your face, go to the gym.
Honey, don't sit there and eat all the chips like that. Have some carrots or something.
Luke tells me when I'm allowed to take a shower. I remember going 3 days without a shower. When I was employed, he would come to work with me every day, sit there in the lobby and wait for me to get done working, and I ended up losing my job. My husband gives me his sleep medication at night, so I won't get up in the middle of the night without him knowing. Luke thinks he is the man, that he is smarter than anyone in the room. He's called me dumb, stupid, lazy, ugly, worthless. Luke has taken my pride, my dignity, my self-worth. I can't be emotionally drained every day. I can't go on in a marriage and fight every single day with him.
Well, her husband, Luke, actually says, hey, I'm street smart, well-educated, and able to see things from all angles. He says his wife is like a child who, frankly, needs his guidance.
My wife, Shara, is very stubborn and set in her ways.
I'm not being picky. You are.
No, I'm telling you, take what you can get to make ends meet.
Oh my God.
She definitely needs guidance. She needs to be motivated. I feel that as my job, my responsibility as a husband, to step in and say, we need to get focused. I wish she was smarter. I wish she had the street smarts. I wish I didn't have to keep kind of like picking up after a child. Almost on a daily basis, I have to remind her it's cold outside, put some socks and shoes on, dress appropriately to the weather, things that I should not be telling a 33-year-old woman. Every time I bring up an issue that needs to be addressed, she takes it as an attack.
You know what? I don't have you're right now. No, you're getting pissed off because it's true.
I'm getting pissed off
It's
because
true.
look at you walking away right now.
She feels like I'm being condescending. When I tell her she needs structure in her life, she just gets furious. My wife and I talk about divorce almost on a daily basis. I cannot seem to get through to her. I can be delicate, I can be abrasive. I have simply run out of ideas.
Wow. Is what she's saying accurate?
No.
Do you have to give her permission to shower?
No, I do not.
That's not true.
Okay, now, hold on. We need to tell the truth here. I'm going to ask you again. Does he give you permission to shower? Has he told, did you go 3 days, as you said on the tape, waiting for him to say it's okay to shower?
Yes.
Okay, is that true or is that false? One of you's lying. You said no,
see,
she said yes.
what I try to do is I try to get her to take better care of herself. I try to teach her the self-respect that hygiene, diet is very important, and to wake up every day.
Are you going to answer my question or just make a 4th of July speech?
Well, I encourage her. I encourage her to take care of herself.
Does she have to get your permission to take a shower?
No, she doesn't need my permission.
Did she go 3 days without a shower because you wouldn't permit it?
No, because she chose to.
That's not true.
Okay.
It's true because she would prefer to lay around and be on the internet for most of the day.
Okay, are you
Sleep
telling
till
the truth
noon.
here?
Yes, sir, I am.
Well, so he's not.
Correct.
Okay, we're about done here. Are you telling the truth or are you lying? Somebody's lying. I don't talk to liars.
Okay, well, I am
So,
not lying. When she
she's
chooses
lying.
to sleep till noon and not motivate herself, get cleaned up, wake up in a reasonable time frame in the morning, that is her choice.
There's a yes or no answer here, and I'm not getting it. Do you tell her she can't leave the house?
No, I encourage her to get up and come and at least
She
go
says
shopping.
that you tell her she can't leave the house alone for more than 5 minutes unless escorted by you.
No, that is very untrue. I encourage her to get motivated, at least do shopping for herself.
Did you tell her she can't have her own cell phone?
It's not feasible for us to have phones, 2 smartphones, because they're very expensive for one, and
Do you have a
She's-
keystroke monitor where you can track everything?
no, I do not. I do not have a keystroke. I don't even know how to do this.
Did you tell her you did?
Yes, I did. I told her, I said, yes, I have a keystroke app on there, so be careful on what you say. I'm defending myself. I'm trying to keep,
Okay.
I'm trying to guard my personal life because she likes to share it with everybody and their brother, what's going on between us.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to do that anymore because you're on national television. That cat's out of the bag. Have you called her stupid, ugly, fat?
I'm trying to motivate. I'm trying to
Really?
say shut
This
up.
is motivational. And later, you threw a paper plate at him.
Yes.
Was it a heavy paper plate?
Nope.
That was a glass plate. Put it out there.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, their beautiful daughter
I was hoping she could do the interview, not wasted, but she is.
is an alcoholic,
You drink about a gallon of vodka a day?
destroying her family
Get away from me before I freak out.
and her life.
I drove with my son, drunk.
You lost custody of your son. You'd have access to him supervised.
Legally, I don't have to be supervised.
Trust me, that changes today.
Tomorrow, then on Wednesday, birth mom
You were failing to feed your children.
That is a lie.
versus adoptive mom.
This was my son.
Did you give birth to him?
A dog can give birth.
That's Wednesday.
Did you tell her she can't get a job?
No, I encourage her to get a job. Matter of fact, I encourage her.
Seriously, is it just me?
No.
When she did have a job, did you go sit in the lobby while she was at work?
When she had her job full time, I was very proud of her. She worked hard, and I had a diabetic coma episode. I ended up in the hospital, and at that point,
Is this coming to a yes?
yes, this is coming to a yes because she wanted me to come up to her work to keep an eye on me, and asked her boss if it was okay if he sat in the lobby. So
The one time.
Well, what you told us is that he came and sat in your lobby every day while you were working until you got fired.
Correct.
How often did you go to her job?
Well, I was going every day to her job and sitting in the lobby just because of the simple fact she can keep an eye on me. She knows what to do in the event of giving me either, whether it be an insulin injection.
Did somebody write stupid on my forehead?
No. But it's the insecurities, you know, I mean, we're leaving a big part of this out. It's the insecurities of, as my husband, she thought I was running around seeing other women, so it makes her feel more secure when I'm in a line of sight.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to listen to that lie.
Well, it's true.
Why was he in the lobby?
The one time he did say I would feel comfortable going to your work, and I allowed that to happen the one time because of a
Yeah. Okay, but what about the other times?
The other times it was, I felt personally that you came to work with me to monitor everything I did, everybody I talked to.
Is that true?
It is not true. It is not true. This whole thing it's stemming from insecurity of her wanting me by her side. You know,
Did you tell her she can't wear a robe inside the house?
Well, I mean, inside the house, you know, anything goes. We're in private.
No,
So you don't tell her
not
she
true.
can't wear. Do you tell her she must wear a tank top, shorts, or underwear to bed?
Well, it's like when I guess when you put on Carhartts or a snowmobile suit, and it's not exactly flattering if there's going to be any kind of intimacy. You wouldn't exactly want your wife coming to bed just bundled up like she's a sleeping bag around her, and it's
So is that a yes?
Well, it's a yes. It's a yes because I would like to see my wife, you know, be more flattering. You know, when I constantly have to tell her things like, well, you know, you probably should put some socks and shoes on before you go out in 20 below zero.
Do you want her to go to bed when you do? And do you give her your sleep medication so she doesn't wake up during the night?
She asked me if she can have something to go to sleep.
That's
She's
not
stressed, and that is true. That is true.
Have you called her stupid, ugly, fat?
A lot of names, a lot of the name calling has been where I am at the end of my rope. I'm only a human being. And
Right.
people do get into name calling when
Well, I
it's-
made a list. She gave us a list. She says, you said you're worthless and you are nothing and I want nothing to do with you. You're such a disappointment. You do nothing to turn me on and you don't even wear what I want you to get me turned on. I have done more than you, seen more than you, been richer than you will ever be. I am smarter than you. You haven't lived life and you don't know. Nothing would be a word to describe you. You might as well be a man because you look like one. You have brought nothing but ugliness into my life. You will be on the streets with nothing. You are a fat, ugly, stinky, worthless human. You don't take care of your body and you disgust me. You are a worthless, smelly, fat, ugly, lazy woman, and I have so much hate for you. Maybe I need to leave you again for you to get in the hang of being a wife and stop wasting my time. It goes on.
Yeah,
Do those things
that's very far-fetched.
I wrote down verbatim, word for word.
Well,
that
you
is
know, that's-
absolutely
and,
the honest
You know,
truth.
that's what you like to do is capture a heated moment. But what about where
Because
I'm trying
this is
to
our
be
problem.
humble? What
These
about
are the
when I'm
names you
trying
call
a
me,
gentle
and it doesn't
approach?
go away.
What about when I'm trying a gentle approach and humbling and bringing you breakfast in bed?
One
and
day
making
a
your
month?
coffee, and one day a month? How can you say that?
Because that's when we get along, is maybe one day
If
a
I
month.
don't do the shopping, if I don't do the cooking, you don't eat.
I don't want to
If
go
I don't
anywhere
encourage
with
you to drink water and get some nourishment in you, you go all day laying in bed.
It's called
I'm not doing
depression.
anything.
Do you
It's
blame
called
me?
depression. I don't blame you, but I'm trying to motivate you. I'm trying to
Really?
No.
say shut
This is motivational?
Well, it's motivational, but this is not true. These statements that I so-called made are not true to that level.
Would you say that you have a parent-child relationship with her?
Yes and no. You know, when I have to remind somebody to do just the basic hygiene or the basic...
Like a parent would a child.
Like please don't sleep till noon.
Yeah, we used to say that to our children.
Yeah, so yes, to answer your question, yeah. I feel like it's... I'm having to...
I got an answer.
Okay.
That's great.
And you've also said on many occasions, you know, I have to set my alarm to get you up in the morning. Where have you been the rest of my life when I've got my other jobs? You were never there to get me up.
I know you may have done that in the past, but I would like to see some of that. I would like to see you wake up on your own, motivate, eat properly, and start off
well,
your
maybe
day.
when I'm talked to nicely and have the ambition to want to, then it will change.
I have some problems of my own, and I'm trying to stay on point, but I have a problem myself. I met her in a city, in a big city,
right.
And I was never told, you know, she never got into her background about being from the country and growing up on a farm, and it was, we really didn't know each other when we jumped into this. And so every day was constantly finding new things out about each other that were kind of disturbing.
You said that you're savvy, street smart, educated, that you're more a worldly person, right?
Yeah.
How come you are in such a mess?
Well, I guess that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
Because seriously, if you're
here, because I
that
cannot
smart,
figure it out.
No, you can't. You're not even close.
Okay, well, good.
No, listen, I'm trying to help you here. Okay. You're not even close. You want this to work, though, right?
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's take a break. And when we come back, is Luke the only one to blame here? Look, there are two sides to the story. And he says that his wife, Shara, has such a bad temper that he's actually been forced to call 911 when things got out of hand. We'll also talk about the time Luke says Shara set him up and got him thrown in jail when we come back.
Luke has gotten physical with me. He grabbed my wrist and bent my hand back. He was in so much anger, and it was like looking at Satan. It scared me big time.
Shara has a lot of anger problems.
I do raise my fist to Luke in anger, but I have never hit him.
There were several times where I felt that my safety was in jeopardy.
You ball up your fist and you act like you're gonna do something.
When I see her balling up her fist, the scowl on her face, the shoulder movement.
She threw a plate at me when I was laying in bed.
The other night, she threw a plate of food at me. Food went everywhere, and luckily the dish didn't break.
If you were there, you would have laughed. It was a paper plate. It was not like a regular plate that you would just wham at someone.
She flung it like a frisbee and said to me, "I'm done."
Okay, Shara says her newlywed marriage feels like a prison sentence. She says Luke calls her fat, worthless, ugly, stupid, and controls her every move. He even, she says, uses his black belt Aikido training to keep her in check. What are you, karate chopping her?
No. I am keeping myself safe from when she's clenching, balling her fist, coaxing like she's drawing back her arm, and the scowl on her face, the paraverbals. These are things that I've seen in the streets and in training where people are about to strike. So I am keeping that from happening.
Yeah. You have a bad temper?
I do. I will admit that, yes. I raise my voice. I will draw my fists back and act like I am going to defend myself, but I have never, ever hit you.
That's a lie. No. That's a lie.
Of course. You threw a paper plate at him?
Yes.
It's not a paper.
Was it one of those wax ones that, like, Was it a heavy paper plate?
Nope, just a really light paper plate. There was a basket underneath of it to hold the paper plate, and there was barbecue and chicken, and he had upset me, and I just whipped it at him. I mean, it's not...
Chicken and all?
Yeah, chicken and all.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting because, you know, let's get it right out there.
Let's do.
That was a glass plate that I brought to you in bed, as I always do. I brought your dinner to bed with a silver fork. There was no paper plate or little basket as you described. That was a glass plate. Put it out there.
Put it out
there. I must not know the difference then between a
glass
paper plate and a glass plate.
You're cutting on it with a knife and fork. I do all your cooking. I bring your food to the bed because you don't want to get out of the bed. Please.
Why did you throw any kind of eating utensil at him?
I was probably upset at something he had said to me. Very angry.
But yet you put up with all this other stuff for a year. Why are you doing this?
I don't know. I love my husband. I love him very much. But this is why we're here. I need this to stop.
I need the secrets to stop.
How's your sex life?
Well, our sex life, it's hit and miss, I guess, with any troubled marriage. You know, I would like for intimacy to be more often. But with everything going on, it's pretty difficult to, you know, to go there when. Well,
you've defined this as a parent-child relationship. I mean, do you recognize that when I say it? That the way you're directing her and coaching her, encouraging her, whatever, is very parent-child. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, think about it for a minute. You came here for help. I've been doing this for 35 years. This is not my first rodeo, and I'm seeing that you got a parent-child relationship here. It's glaring, parent-child, father-daughter relationship. And who wants to go get in bed with daddy? And I'm not saying it's all you. I'm sure she's not the perfect wife.
Yeah.
He says his wife has a vicious temper and even devised a plan to have him thrown in jail overnight for a domestic violence charge. Take a look at this.
Luke and I had an altercation. He had mentioned something about finding a phone number that was in my phone.
The ultimatum was you're going to delete the phone numbers or, you know, it's over.
And then the fight escalated. There was a cup of coffee sitting on the counter. Luke took his hand and backhanded the cup of coffee.
She immediately ran outside.
I went to the neighbors and had asked them, if you hear 3 knocks on the door, can you please call 911 for me? I went back inside the house and he grabbed my chin and he had so much rage and anger inside of him. I didn't know what he was going to do next. And I had knocked 3 times and the neighbors knew to call 911.
Immediately, when I heard the knock on the door, I knew it was the police. And we all know that knock.
When the police showed up, I was still shaking.
She said that I physically assaulted her, and they arrested me for domestic violence.
When we went to court, he was found not guilty.
Okay. Now, you say that she told the neighbors to call the cops if she knocked on the...
Knocked on the wall.
Knocked 3 times.
Knocked 3 times, that was the signal.
Yeah. And so you did.
Yes.
And so 7 police officers show up.
Yes.
And they arrest him.
Yes.
Haul him off, goes to court, and he's found not guilty.
Correct.
How'd you feel about that?
Very upset, very angry, very, I guess in a way sometimes it didn't surprise me because he's always had the mentality to manipulate and get his own way.
Okay, but let me ask y'all something. When you look at all of this kind of concentrated the way we've done it here, I've made lists to kind of put all the things together in one place for efficiency's sake. We've had videotapes where you guys are talking about what happened. When you see all this compressed and condensed into a profile of your life and marriage, how do you feel about that?
You know, there's a lot of things that need to come to light today that
so you want to tell more?
We haven't touched on.
You want to tell more?
We haven't touched on some serious.
Okay, well, give me the top 3.
Number 1 is all the secret emails, her contacting people from 20 years ago.
Like your ex-girlfriends?
Like my
stuff
ex-wife
like
and ex-girlfriends from 20 years ago.
Okay, number two.
Number two, it's discussing our personal life with every person she comes in contact with. Nothing is kept sacred.
Okay, number three.
And number three, come out and be honest about the jealousy. I would let you explain the jealousy part, because you say you have a lot of envy and that leads to anger, and you don't know, you're not sure how to lash out.
First of all, I never said I was jealous of you, and I never will be.
My wife actually punched me, struck me.
Well, I would get my money back for that black belt.
Well, we were having a dispute about money issues. I started to record the situation because she was starting to get louder and louder. I knew at that point that she was out of control.
Well, that's all we want to do, but right now you're going ape on me.
I was very upset that he needed to call his mother and take him out of the situation.
She's a peon.
Look, I just want to
If
get...
she shows up here with a police officer, there's nothing they're gonna do.
She started lashing out at me and trying to grab the phone away from me.
Keep your hands off me.
I haven't touched you, Luke.
Yeah,
you're
you're touching me right now. Get
You're the
the
one that
away
grabbed
from
my
me.
wrist
Get
and
the
twisted
away
it.
from me. You're so twisted right now.
I did not touch him. I did not hit him. I did not assault him.
Yeah, you think I'm recording, so you're throwing some shit out there.
He said, "Get away from me. I'm going to call 911. I saw on the phone that 911 was already entered into the phone, and all he had to do was hit send.
I'll hit send. Stay away from me, Shara.
No, what are you doing?
I ended up leaving in handcuffs and being charged with domestic violence.
Based on my recording, they arrested her and took her to jail.
Okay, so you've each had the other hauled off.
Yes.
This wasn't a revenge. I just want to put this out there. This was not anything like that. My wife actually punched me, struck me. She was advancing on me, and as soon as I hit send is when she immediately hit me.
Well, I would get my money back for that black belt.
Well, that's the thing.
I would march down there and tell him I want my damn money back.
Well, that's the thing, you know, because in this day and age with law enforcement, if you try to do any kind of martial arts or any advanced training,
yeah, but if somebody's coming at you with a paper plate, I mean,
no, it's not a paper plate. It wasn't a paper plate. It was a glass plate. I'll take that to my grave. I'll take the lie detector test right now. You can hook me up to NASA. Okay? Hook me up to the most advanced lie detector test in the world, and I will pass it.
I may be the most advanced lie detector test in the world.
Okay.
And I can tell you that your capacity for insight is very low. Okay? Your ability to look at yourself in a critical fashion and say, what's my ownership here? The fact that you define encouragement with derogating statements.
Yes.
So when you say you are a worthless, smelly, fat, ugly, lazy woman, that I have so much hate for you, that you think she'll just say, you know what, I'm going to answer that challenge, and I am going to stop being worthless. I'm not going to smell so bad. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be less ugly, and I'm going to be more lazy.
I have exhausted the humble, delicate approach till I'm blue in the face, waking her up with the breakfast in bed. Please, come on, it's time to wake up. If that way's not working, I'm going to try another way.
So you try the abusive way and think it's going to work?
Problem.
No, it's not going to work.
Well, I'm at the end of my rope.
What I was saying is that your capacity for insight, your ability to step outside yourself and look back and see, how am I doing? Is that reasonable? Is this productive? Is this getting me what I want? Is very low. You don't have the ability to do that. You should be asking me, Dr. Phil, what can I do as a husband to inspire change in this marriage? What can I do to heal this situation? Because obviously, as smart and educated and street savvy as I am, I'm lost here. I'm losing. I'm losing her. I'm losing my marriage. I'm not happy. This isn't working for me. Give me some new tools, man. Give me some new tools. That's what you should be doing instead of arguing back and forth about what kind of plate she threw at you.
Well, I just want, you know, there's secrets. There's more to this that I want her to reveal, you know, on my behalf, because I feel like it's all focused on me.
Well, okay, there are secrets. She has secrets?
She has something that she needs to bring to the table.
Do you know what he's talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about, no, and I honestly don't know. No.
You don't? Do you want to know?
I want to know.
Do you want me to ask him?
Yes.
What's she talking about? What are you talking about?
When I asked her why everything was a secret, she had to go behind my back and discuss our personal affairs with everybody and their brother. I said, you know, why do you do those things? Why
and the
do you
secret
lash
was?
out? And the secret was, well, I'm doing this because I am just frustrated, and the reason being is I have this envy. And
what is it she envies about you?
Well, ask her.
Okay.
I think
what is it that you envy about him?
And if you're going to continue to lie about this, it stops now.
What stops?
Our marriage. Because this right here, you need to put that truth out there.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I drove with my son, drunk.
She's drinking herself to death.
You will die for your son. Will you live for him?
Maybe he would be better off with a different mom.
That's tomorrow.
What is it that you envy about him?
There is one thing about him, yes, that
Which
I do.
is?
His strong personality. I'm not a strong person.
And you find that offensive?
Well, at this point, you know, I find a lot of things offensive.
You said there's a secret she needs to disclose, and that secret is that she has envy for you. She defines that as admiring that you have strength of personality. Okay, so it's out there. By God, we got it.
Yeah.
It's out there.
It's out there, but this is what the motives were for all the emails, texting, putting me out there, destroyed the relationship with my brother. These were things that, you know, like my brother didn't have anything to do with our relationship, but she still felt the need to send a message to him that she faked her pregnancy, I'm having his child, he wishes death upon you. And these were Facebooks. I mean, we had a deal not to be on Facebook. She broke that deal a few months ago and created another Facebook page. And the agreement was, let's try to keep something sacred and private. Mm-hmm. And she turned to Facebook again secretly behind my back.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Wow. So we got something agreed upon.
Yes.
So you did that. You did another Facebook page. Why'd you do that if you said you weren't going to do it?
I believe that this was the time that we weren't together.
Oh.
I was in my apartment by myself, and I had nobody to talk to. I felt that was my way of, you know, at least being able to talk to someone.
She just got out of jail. I just want to say, she just got out of jail, went and bought a cell phone, and was calling me saying, I love you so much, thank you, because I stuck up for her in court.
You put her in jail,
begging
right?
me. I put her in jail, but see, I wanted her to get help. I didn't want to see her incarcerated.
Yeah, because that's very therapeutic to go to.
Well,
to put your wife in the drunk tank. That warms them right up.
Well, you know, if she needed to get some sort of, I guess, scared straight, for the lack of better words, then, you know, this when somebody hits you, you know, in the groin like she did to me, and it's on the 911 recording.
No, it's not because I never hit you.
When she hit me, and yes, you did. And if you're going to continue to lie about this, it stops now.
What stops?
Our marriage. Because this right here, you need to put that truth out there. Okay, you know, the paper plate, the glass plate, okay, fine. I'll let that slide because you know what? But at least You know, when an officer has been an officer for 30 years on the job, a sergeant knows.
By the way, are you aware that you're pointing at and lecturing?
I'm just
curious.
I'm sorry. I'm just
kind
of gesturing with my hands.
You listen to me.
That's how it is all the time.
But this is something that we come here to be honest. And when she says she never hit me, this is horrible.
It's on the recording.
It's on the recording.
I never touched you.
If you're not going to admit to
wait
it...
a minute. Marriage may be over, so let's figure that out. He's saying that you hit him or kneed him in the groin, and you say you didn't. And he says, if you lie about that, we're done. Marriage is over. Go fill out the papers. Did you knee him in the groin?
No, I did not.
Did you hit him in the groin?
No, I did not.
Did you try to?
No.
So... somebody's delusional. I think it's me. Because I got to tell you, this is, you know, as dysfunctional as this seems, it's really very fixable. Let's take a break here. Everybody has a history. Both of these people have a history. Have they been damaged along the way that makes them hypersensitive on this trust front? We'll talk about that when we come back.
After 29 years, I finally told my family what happened when I was 5 years old. I remember sitting on this man's lap. I had a dress on. This is hard. I'm sorry, this is hard.
Luke and Shara have only known each other for 2 years. They've been married 1. But there's one thing that may explain some of the dysfunction that this couple is experiencing. They've been very forthcoming. Take a look.
After 29 years, I finally told my family what happened when I was 5 years old. My dad had a friend come to the house, and my dad's friend was sitting downstairs. This is hard. I'm sorry, this is hard. I remember sitting on this man's lap, and my parents were nowhere around. I had a dress on. He had his fingers where they should not have been. I remember as soon as it happened, I felt that I was going to get in trouble for something. This is a secret that I have held for 29 years.
When I was 8 or 9, I was molested. The kid in the neighborhood that did this was the bully, the tough guy. For all this time, it was just this memory in my head that I never shared with anyone. I carried it around for 37 years.
This is something that the two of you tragically have in common. You've both been in that situation, and let me tell you, I've worked with so many people over all the years that have been impacted by that kind of horrific conduct. They kind of go one of two ways. Either their self-esteem is ripped from them and they become very passive and compliant so as not to invoke that kind of rage or control from someone, or they embrace a false sense of superiority because they become what I call white knucklers. They white knuckle their world. They hang on so tight because they feel like if they ever even relax a little bit, that everything will spin out of control. And you've done one and you've done the other. Let me just be very straight. The manner in which you are seeking to motivate, inspire, and change this person has the opposite effect of what you want.
Correct.
The good news here is neither one of you has done anything here that is irreparable to the other. You love her.
Yes.
If you walked around a corner at the mall or at church or somewhere, and there was somebody that had her pinned up against the wall and said, "You are ugly and smelly and fat," how would that go over with you if some guy had her pinned against the wall, derogating her in that way?
It wouldn't go over too well.
You wouldn't put up with it for 1 second, would you?
No.
Then why do you accept it from yourself? Every situation needs a hero. Step up and be that for your child. If you're having trouble with a son or daughter and feel like you're running out of options, visit drphil.com to get 11 seasons of parenting advice. You can access articles, video, and action plans to help you be the best parent you can be. Both of you need to start holding yourself to a much higher standard of how you conduct yourself. You're calling the cops on each other, you're throwing names out there and derogating one another and getting into physical tussles and all of this. That's beneath you. Sure, it's beneath you. You are better than that. You don't believe that or you wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
But you have a damaged personal truth, and people generate the results in life they think they deserve. And you are generating the results you think you deserve. And I want y'all to do two things. I'm going to give you guys a book that I wrote a long time ago called Relationship Rescue. And you know that song, I Loved You Before I Met You? I wrote that book for you before I ever met you. I did. I mean, it is the Luke and Char book. It should have been at the front. It said, dedicated to Luke and Char, who I will meet someday.
Yeah.
This book is for you, but I don't want you to just do that. I also want to get each of you some very specialized professional help in two phases. One, survivors of molestation. Special help with people that can talk to y'all about what the results of that can be. And then second, to help you to define a marriage and a couple where you both get what you want. And I'm going to hand pick this and put it together. And this is our gift to you. There's no expense to you. This is just something that I want to do for the two of you. Will you do that? Will you take that help?
Absolutely.
And they're going to be very frustrated with you.
Okay.
Yeah, because you talk a lot.
Okay.
But just I'm going to tell them to hang in there, because when you get past that, I think there's a good guy in there. I think you're a good egg.
Yeah.
Okay? Deal?
Thank you so much.
All right. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to our medical team at Doctor On Demand for assisting some of my team with preparation for the show. And if you at home want to have your own Doctor On Demand that you can pop up on your smartphone right away, my son Jay and I have created that app. You can go to Google Play or the App Store, download it. You don't even have to leave your house to talk to a doctor. We use it here all the time. We'll see you next time, and we will keep you posted on these guys. They have a better future than you might think. Thanks for being here, guys.